Okay, so Kylie, can you get us started?
All right, so this are we one place in Montana. Ooh, okay. Driving through a snowstorm. My goodness. Well, thank you for joining us. Please drive safe.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
All right, so welcome everybody to the masterclass to manifest your ideal partner and ideal relationship. So we just want to really just say thank you. It's the first masterclass that we've put on together. We've been working really hard, and as Gabriel mentioned, that we had so many aha moments when we put this together ourselves. And so we really hope and we know that you all received so much out of this masterclass, that you all enjoyed yourselves, you had fun, you were able to do deep introspection, and yeah, you were just able to have a great time and to learn a lot today. All right, so let's see, what are we going to cover today? So we'll have our introduction. You've introduced yourselves. We'll introduce ourselves in a little bit. We'll share our story in two parts, part one and part two. We'll dive into the awareness, our identity. We'll gain clarity. We'll talk about the inner action necessary. Gratitude, of course, gratitude is our favorite thing. And we'll dive into our story part two. We'll have a question and answer period at the end, and then we'll wrap up. So it's very important for a question and answer period. We'll do that at the end. But if you have questions along the way, please put them in the chat at that moment so you don't forget. And then we'll go back to the chat and read through and get all of your questions. And remember that there's no such thing as a stupid question. All questions are valid. Feel free to ask anything that you want. All right, so someone in the chat already asked, where are you from? So let us tell you a little bit about ourselves. We are Gabriel and Kylie Kutsia, and most people don't know how to pronounce our surname, but it's Kutsia. Props to you if you can pronounce it. We are a coaching duo. So we do mostly two-on-one coaching, where both of us will work with our clients two-on-one to get the best input and get the best results. We also manifestation coaches. Of course, our entire lives have been as a result of manifestation. Us meeting was a manifestation. Every day when we wake up, what we see, what we do, it's all a manifestation. It's our lifestyle. And we coach people how to also make it theirs too. We are business partners. You can see our logo there, Endless Bliss with Gabriel and Kylie. We started our business just recently, but it's already taken off, and it's been such a nice adventure to journey on together. And of course, we are blissfully married. Again, as a result of manifestation. And the one quote that I remembered was that you can't lead people to a place you've never been. And so for us, being able to have a story of the first-hand experience of manifesting a partner and manifesting a blissful relationship and a blissful marriage is why we do what we do. And of course, we're best friends. Gabriel and I, we love spending time together. When you have your best friend, you want to just be with them, talk to them about everything, go everywhere with them. It's the most amazing relationship to have your spouse be your best friend also. We love it.
Yeah, it's so amazing. It's awesome. You know, when you have that best friend, you're like just so excited to always share with them. You know, you can't wait to spend time with them. You just want to be around them. Yeah, it's so awesome. And you know, if we can experience that, so can you guys as well. We just chose to be in that state, and now we just enjoying the automatic manifestations. But don't worry, we're gonna share all the nitty-gritties with you guys, and it's gonna be absolutely wowalicious, absolutely amazing. So to start off this masterclass, I just want to share a quote by one of my favorite teachers and authors as well, Neville Goddard. I'm pretty sure most of you guys know who Neville Goddard is, but for the people that are not familiar with Neville Goddard, he was from Barbados and moved to America, and he was a teacher, a lecturer, mystic, and his teachings were primarily based on the Bible, universal laws, and ancient esoteric, knowledge as well. And the core message of Neville Goddard was that the creative power, the creative source is within you, and that you are creating your own reality. You are the God of your own reality. And what you see on a daily basis through your eyes is simply a reflection of what's happening within you. So your external reality is just showing you what's happening within you. So the good thing is, if you do not like what's happening in your external reality, you can simply change it by changing your internal reality. And this quote kind of sums up, in his entire, teachings, and it's so powerful. And I read, it says, change your conception of yourself and you will automatically change the world in which you live. And what is your conception of yourself? It's your self-concept. It's your state. And what is your state? It's what you feel or believe to be true about yourself on a deeper level. So when you change that, your entire world will change automatically. So you don't have to change. And it continues here. So you don't have to, do not try to change people. They are only messengers telling you who you are. And revalue yourself and they will confirm the change. So, sometimes we look at our external reality and we're like, oh, I hope my partner can change, or I hope she can change, or I hope I can see a difference in my external reality. You don't have to change anything in your external reality. All you need to do is just revalue yourself. What is the value that you put on yourself? How do you value yourself? Do you see yourself as worthy of having a blissful relationship now? Or do you see yourself as unworthy of having a blissful relationship now? You really have to ask yourself, what do you believe that you deserve in a relationship? What do you believe that you deserve, in a partner? That once you change that, your entire world, will change. So you don't have to do anything in the external world. All you have to do is just change your internal world, change your mind, change your thoughts, change your feelings, and that will change your world automatically. I know that it's a bold statement, but we are proof of this statement that it actually is, definitely the truth. And in this section, we just want you guys to reflect, just take a moment and reflect on your current love life, without judging yourself, because when you actually, take a moment to reflect where you are, it's going to be so much easier for you to know where you're going, because now you'll have clarity. So just take a moment and reflect where you are, and, rate your current love life on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not good and 10 being wow, amazing, absolutely awesome. Just take a moment and rate yourself, because that will give you clarity on where, to go. And if you are comfortable with sharing that number, sure, go ahead, because the reason for this masterclass is to get you to a wow, to get you to a 10, to get you to that, wow, what an amazing relationship I'm now enjoying with my ideal partner. So if you're comfortable, go ahead and share. But as I said, the reason for this is to get you to a wow state. And so story time. So because as we said that, guys, that whatever it is you've actually contemplated now in your current love life, that's not who you are. That is only a temporary state. And states can be changed just like this. So, but the problem is, most of us identify ourselves with this state, and you say that, while I am this, I do not deserve the perfect man, I do not deserve the perfect, partner, or I do not deserve, the blissful life and all that. That's only a state, but you're not the state. You are the one wearing the state. So now we want to share with you guys where we have been as well, also in undesirable state, so that you can, also relate to, where we've been.
Awesome.
So Kylie's,
Yeah, so my story, it was a journey from going from emotionally unavailable state to a state of bliss, and eventually endless bliss. And you see, so when I was growing up, I mostly grew up with my dad and my brothers. And so we'd be playing, I was keeping up with the boys, and then something would happen, I'd start crying. Either it was unfair or I got hurt, and I would cry. Because I was a kid, of course I would cry. But you know the old saying of how, men don't cry, boys don't cry. That's how my brothers were brought up, and that's how my dad operated also. And so I took that upon myself to say, okay, when I cry, I'm being annoying. When I cry, it's not good. When I express myself, they're not going to want to play with me anymore. And so from a young age, I was suppressing these emotions deep, deep down because I thought it was such a negative thing. And as I got older, it became second nature to me. I said, well, I'm just emotionally unavailable. I don't know. That's just who I am. And this very negatively impacted the relationships that I was having with family, friends, romantic relationships, because you can't have intimacy or build intimacy with someone if you don't share how you feel. If you keep everything closed in, well, what good is that? And so it really wasn't until I met Gabriel and I saw his bliss that he had already embodied. And it was so contagious, this bliss. And he even said to me, do you want to experience this too? And at first I hesitated because I didn't know if it would be real or not. But I thought, if it does exist, who wouldn't want to feel this way? And so I said, sure. So Gabriel took my hand, we walked the journey together. We were able to help me to shift into this new state very patiently, in a process to get me from being emotionally unavailable to then blissfully happy, expressive. As you can see now, I'm very expressive, which
Mhm.
I used to never be that way. And you can see even in this photo here, this was the beginning of last year, and you can see a fake smile. You can see no life in the eyes. You can see how my hands are just behind my back, just kind of closed off.
Mhm.
I wasn't very happy at that time. I didn't know how to express myself, even in a picture. And so you can just kind of tell the before to the after, and we'll dive even more into the process a bit later in part two of the story. But yeah, Gabriel, can you share your story?
Yeah, sure. As you guys can see, that was just a temporary state that Kylie was in. And now I want to share with you guys the temporary state that I was in as well, before I discovered, bliss. So growing up, I was very shy, introverted, always kept to myself. And I never was very, expressive. I mean, I remember even, going to school at, church as well. And in particularly in secondary school, when girls used to come up to me, I was like, nah, I used to lie and say, I'm too shy and my voice is gone and stuff like that. That's how shy I was. I just did not know how to express myself. And afterwards, when I, went to London and I started, being in romantic, relationships as well. And the one thing I could not understand was, why was I unable to experience love? Why was I unable to feel, the love? And I tried my best. I was like, literally just, oh man, I was like, and I remember looking at a couple of my friends and seeing how they were in love in their relationships. And I asked them, so how is it that you get it right and I'm trying, and yet, this, that, and the other? Like, yeah, you just do it, man. Just give yourself, just, blah. I'm like, oh, right, is it that simple? But it was not simple, for me as well. And I remember coming back from London to SA, and I saw my cousin with his wife, and wow, the way they were in love, it was like stuff that you see in movies. And I even had to tell him that, wow, man, what you guys have, it's just like in a movie. How the hell, like, how I am struggling in my love life just to express my love and to love, because in my past relationships, people gave me love, but I couldn't give it back. I didn't know how. I just did not know how. And then I was like so frustrated and just so, I was just like so sick and tired of it. And I ended up seeking help. I sought out the psychologist. I worked with the psychologist. And what I did, I asked the psychologist, I asked the psychologist, I was asking her, why is it that it feels like my heart is made out of rock? Why can I not love? Why can I not feel love? Why can I not experience love? And even though the psychologist could not get me to the root of the problem, but in my questioning, I then found out why that was, why I ended up accepting that state. And this was the answer that I got. I remember growing up, being in church, because I grew up very religious, and a leader in church told me that the heart is deceitful and it's sinful, and I should not trust my feelings and emotions because it's going to keep me out of heaven. Now, you have to understand, heaven was the prize. I really wanted to go to heaven because they were always preaching, we are going to go to heaven, it's going to be so awesome, and blah, blah, blah. And it's at that moment when I assumed, that my heart was the enemy and my feelings were also, the enemy as well. It was at that moment where I was like, okay, I'm not going to trust my heart. I'm not going to trust my feelings. I'm just going to stay focused so that I can go to heaven. And it just hit me like a light bulb to say, oh, that's why I could not love or feel love or experience love. And that was my journey to bliss. And I discovered different mentors, teachers, such as, Neville Goddard. Of course, he just blew my mind away. And, Bob Proctor, and my wonderful, amazing mentor, Candice, because I've been working with Candice, on and off for about, say, 2, 3 years. And she actually introduced me to bliss. And that was my discovery, to bliss. And I remember just looking at the dictionary. I was like, what does bliss mean? And I was like, oh, perfect happiness and joy. But how I interpreted it, I was like, perfect inner happiness and awesome inner joy. And I was like, I want that. I want that. I want that. And that was when I decided to do the necessary inner work and to embody the state of bliss by shifting into bliss. And let me tell you, after I've shifted into bliss, my life changed like night and day. It changed like night and day. And that's when I finally could actually feel what it was to love. And wow, man, it just, even my friends, my family, they got like, when they've seen, the change in me from how I was in this old temporary state, I was in a state of not being to love. And now I am finally able to love. And not only that, I am free and I have the inner peace, the inner joy, the inner happiness, and I can express myself whenever, however, wherever. It's so amazing. Now, let me tell you something. If this can happen to me, a person that broke so many, relationships in the past because of my ignorance of not, because I thought that I was the state. I thought that I was like, well, I can't love it. That's just going to be the case. I must just find a woman or a wife that will accept that, and she shouldn't want more. She should just like, do whatever, I tell her, and blah, blah, blah. That's what I thought, right? At that time, I thought that I was that person, but that was only a state, and states are temporary. So that's the reason why I chose to shift from that undesirable state to a desirable state, which is bliss. And I mean, wow, it's just so amazing. But there's a part two coming. I will share more with you guys.
All right, so you can see on our stories that you are not your state. Whatever you mentioned before, we had 6, 7, 8. The good news is that we are not the state, because a state is, you could call it a self-concept. It's what you assume or believe or feel to be true about yourself. It's not who you are. It's very easy to identify ourselves with our states. As Gabriel said, He said, well, he's incapable of loving. For me, I said, well, I'm emotionally unavailable. I am emotionally unavailable. It's not true. It's a lie. Perhaps in those moments we may feel that way, but it's not who we are. So irrespective of our answers, whether we had sixes, sevens, okay, it's fine. But we want to get you to even better. Those states are only temporary. We want to be able to get us to tens. If we can ever reach a 10, I even put 9 because it can get better and better and better and better and better every single day, which is a beautiful thing. You are not the state. Which then begs the question, if you're not the state, then who are you? Who are we? If we're not emotionally unavailable, if we're not unable to love, if we're not the unlucky in love, then who are we? We're not the state. Gabriel, who are we?
So now that we know that we're not the state and it's simply just temporary, right? Then who are we? We know that we're not only the name, right? Because we can change our names, legally now as well, and we can become aware of that. And we're also not the mind, we're not the thoughts, we're not the feelings, we're not the emotions. I mean, you can become aware of your thoughts now, and you can also become aware of your feelings. You can actually watch or observe them as you would watch a bird flying past or a dog walking past. So that means that you're above your thoughts, your feelings, and emotions, and you're above your mind, right? So you're not that, and you can become aware of that as well. And you're also not your body. You don't say I'm a hand, I'm nose, I'm lips, or I'm feet, and you can become aware that your arm is moving right now. So if you're not the name, you're not the mind, you're not the body, then who are you? You are the awareness that is aware of the above. And that awareness is infinite and it's limitless. Now, that is your true identity. That is your true self. And your true self is the God self. Because, very simple, you can become aware now of your thoughts and your body and your name. Which means that you're above that. So we should not identify ourselves with our thoughts or identify ourselves with our body or identify ourselves with our current state, you know? Because we're not that. We're above that. We are the God of these states. We're the God of our reality. And this awareness also is aware of the state. It's like you are wearing the state. State is like, a favorite garment or favorite, clothes. So you've got your favorite, clothing that you always wear. And you always gravitate towards your favorite clothes, right? Because why? It's comfy, it's cozy. Whenever you pull it on, you just feel so good. But when you have those clothes on, it's like you feel like it's mine, it's yours, right? But you know that you take off that clothes and you put it back on. So that's exactly what you can do now. At the moment, if you're in a the undesirable state, you can simply take it off and put on a new one that makes you feel wow. You know what I mean? That makes you feel alive. That just makes you feel like, whew, finally I've arrived. You can do that. All you have to do is just choose. You literally just have to choose. Now I'm choosing this state. So now how do you choose a new state? How do you choose a new desirable state that makes you say, wow, makes you feel wow? Neville Goddard tells us that consciousness is the one and only reality. Let me repeat that. Consciousness is the one and only reality. So, what that means is this so called reality that we see through our eyes is only a projection of consciousness. So, the real world exists within. And what I mean by that, in our minds, our thoughts, our feelings. So when we change the inner world, the outer world changes automatically. And the second quote by Neville Goddard says that the world is a mirror forever reflecting what you are doing within yourself. So there's no one to change but yourself. You don't have to even go on Tinder. You don't have to go to that girl. You don't have to go to that guy. All you have to do is just change within. You have to shift into the person that is now enjoying a loving, blissful relationship. You have to ask yourself, now that I am in a loving, blissful relationship, what do people say? How do I feel? What does my mom say? What does my brother say? What does my father say? What do people say on social media now that I'm enjoying this blissful relationship? All that is required from you is just to shift. And once you've shifted into that state, because a state is complete, it already has all its thoughts, feelings, and actions, and obviously your automatic manifestations as well. So, consciousness is the only reality. If you can become aware right now of your dream partner, your dream relationship, you are creating it right now. All you need to do is just shift into that person that is enjoying it right now. You muted, Kylie. Kylie, you muted.
Okay, you got it now.
Okay, just at this
So,
time again.
yeah, so it is very important for us to know where we're going. We need to choose our new state. We know where we are now. We know what number we gave ourselves. Now, where are we going? What is that 10? What is that going to be for us? And so we've put down a few examples that some of our clients have said, our friends have said, and ones we've just thought up that would imply that you have your desires. So we have a blissful, loving relationship. I am now in a blissful, loving relationship. I'm wearing that garment now. You could be blissfully married. You could be a loving husband or wife, the king or queen of romance. It could be just like a fairy tale, whatever it is that you want. Ours is endless bliss for Gabriel and I. It could be just like the best movie ever. So please, this is where we really want you guys to interact. Please put in the comments, what is your ideal state? It can be from this list, but it doesn't have to be because there are infinite number of states. What is that 10 for you? What is that 10? I am now a blissful, loving wife. I am now in an adventurous relationship. We are the king and queen of spontaneous love, whatever that may be. Please put that in the comments. And you see, states are complete. They come with their own thoughts, their own feelings, and their own actions, their own automatic manifestations. And this is where some people don't fully grasp manifestations because we don't need to worry about manifesting things. We don't need to worry about manifesting a partner. If I shift into a state of a loving wife, that already implies, well, to be a wife, I need a husband. That will automatically come because it's part of the package deal of a state. The state of a loving wife has a loving husband in it. It has to. And so we don't need to then focus so much on waiting or trying to manifest this or that. We must shift our state. Because, say, if I haven't shifted my state, even in my story that I shared before, how I was emotionally unavailable, if I didn't shift to a state of bliss, my relationship with Gabriel likely would have failed or wouldn't have been so blissful because I wasn't blissful. I was still emotionally unavailable. But because I shifted into bliss, because Gabriel shifted into bliss, bliss had to automatically manifest in our world. And a few examples of how that happened. As I was on my journey to shift, we would go for walks and we would say, how does it get any more blissful than this? How does it get? It's almost like a challenge to the I am, to the awareness. How does it get more blissful than this? And we were both nudged at the same time to look up. And as we looked up, we saw a rainbow circling around the sun. It was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. We'd never seen anything like it before. But it was that automatic manifestation that came from it. And as Gabriel said he was a blissful and a loving blissful a marriage, and he was a husband. So when we met, he knew this is my wife. And so of course it unfolded quite quickly. Engagement, marriage, it just naturally flowed out from there. Once he said, I'm in a blissful, loving marriage, boom, he accepted that, he shifted. Appeared his wife, me. And so remember, it's more about shifting your state than manifesting anything specifically. It's already a package deal. You must just shift.
Yeah, that's so powerful, Kylie. So, so powerful because each and every state is already complete. So we shouldn't try to manifest this, manifest that. Just ask yourself, what is going to make me feel like wow? What is that? What is that wow state for you? If that is a loving, blissful relationship, if that is happiness, if that is true love, if that whatever that is, what is going to make you go wow? Whatever that is, share with us, in the comments, because when you share, you're obviously telling yourself that, oh, you are clear, right? And the good news is, whatever it is, you have the ability to shift in it because you are God of your reality. Whatever you say goes. And so how do you shift into your new, desired, state? So as you guys obviously now what we've shared, that you're not only the state, but you're actually the one wearing the state. So you are the awareness of that state, right? So how do you shift into that new desire? So how do you shift into that wow state? So story time again. So I will start by sharing my story when I've, shifted into the state of being blissfully married, right? So, and stories are good because now you can see that, oh, this stuff actually works. This Neville stuff actually works. It's not just YouTube videos of people talking, 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 but this actually exists, right? So it's pretty cool. Story time. So, as I mentioned that my wonderful, amazing mentor, Candice thought, introduced me to bliss. And I attended another mastermind over last year. And in the mastermind was just what you are looking to achieve in the next 6 months. But now, before that, I was single for about a year and a half. And the reason why I did not want to just get into another relationship is because I wanted to take that time to shift into the state of bliss to make sure that I am blissful. And then it just so happened that when I did the mastermind of Candice, my state at the time led me to say, okay, Gabriel, it's time. You can now choose a wife. You can now choose. And I just felt that it was right. And what I did, I wrote down exactly what I wanted in a woman because now that I was obviously in a state of bliss as well. So I wrote down exactly what I wanted in a woman. I was very clear because I'm very spontaneous, I'm adventurous, I'm a little bit crazy. I love to have fun because now, I'm blissful, so I'm free, right? So I needed someone that can complement me in that regard. And after, when I wrote down exactly what I wanted, I closed my eyes and I imagined that I am now blissfully married with my beautiful wife. I imagined that she was with me. I imagined the amazing conversations that we had. I imagined that, you know, she would just, tell me that, wow, man, this is so amazing. Isn't it amazing now that we're living this awesome, blissful life? And I told her, the same as well. And I just, imagine how other people, complimented us, on our beautiful, blissful, life. And when I say other people, I made it personal. I imagine, my friends, family, friends. And as I was in imagination, I could feel, the feelings of, reality, the feelings of that she was with me because I imagined that she was with me right there and there, us just enjoying this amazing, blissful relationship because I moved, shifted into a blissfully married state. So that implied that I was already married, right? And as I was doing it, as I said, I could just feel a feeling of excitement and euphoria in my solar plexus. I was like, whoo, it just felt so good. And afterwards, I just dropped it. And then I expressed my gratitude now that she is in my life. And from that day forward, I just lived in gratitude, expressing my gratitude for my amazing, blissful marriage and my beautiful, amazing, wifey. That's how I live my life, right? So I would go to restaurants on my own, right? People, especially at my favorite restaurant, they thought I was a little bit crazy. They were like, "Are you alone? Seriously, you alone?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm alone." But deep down, inside, I knew that I wasn't alone. I knew that my beautiful wife who was there, we're cheersing to endless bliss, even though she was not there in reality. Cheersing to endless bliss, having amazing conversations, just being so all over each other, lovey-dovey, all that good stuff. And I would go walk on the beach, look at sunsets, and I would see her next to me, holding her hand, just appreciating the sunset, even though she wasn't in my reality. I would go, on hikes for gratitude walks and know, like, she is with me, especially. But I actually want to make something very clear to you guys is that I did not just live my life delusional that, oh yeah, I'm happy and grateful that she's with me. Because sometimes I would like, just do my own thing and then she would come to my mind. And that's where I express my gratitude that she's, we're having an awesome, blissful relationship, or we're having an awesome walk, we're having an awesome time at dinner, we're having an awesome. So I lived my life in gratitude after now that I've manifested her, right? And so I didn't do like imaginal scenes every single night and stuff like that because I knew that consciousness is the only reality. So if I say to myself that she is now in my life, we are now blissfully married, we enjoying a blissful, awesome life together, it means that it's a done deal. So all I need to do is just express my gratitude. Now that she is in my life, we're enjoying bliss, we're enjoying our happiness, and it's all good, right? So that's what I did. And I did that for about 3.5 months. And then after, say, 3.5 months later, so it only took me 3.5 months. And then she showed up in my reality at that favorite restaurant where some people thought I was crazy, the one that I used to actually go on my own. And then when I saw her, when I saw her, I was like, wow, man, I was it felt like I knew her. We had an awesome conversation. I have to admit, it wasn't love at first sight, but I knew there was something there. And but it was just so awesome. Our conversations, we spoke about deep stuff. I even told her about manifestation. She didn't know what the hell I was talking about. It was so foreign to her. And then the third date, I knew that she was my wife because I knew that everything that I written down on that list and more was the woman I basically depicted on that list. I was everything that I written down and more. And the second month, I already bought the ring because I was like, of course, she's my wife. The second month of us dating, I bought the ring. And the funny story is like when I bought the ring, my mom and my sisters saw and they were like, oh, wow, exciting. And then they asked Kylie, let me see, let me see. It was supposed to be a surprise. And then Kylie found out that I already bought the ring. And you can just imagine, she probably thought that I'm crazy. It's only been 2 months and yet I bought the ring after 2 months. No, it wasn't crazy to me. You have to understand, she was my wife. I saw her in consciousness, and consciousness is the only reality. This reality is only a reflection of what's inside. And man, our relationship has been so amazing. The good thing about our loving, blissful relationship is it gets better every single time. Every day, it just gets better and better and better. And the reason why is because we are the awareness, we infinite and limitless. And this human experience can only take so much. So every day you get to experience more bliss and more bliss and more bliss. And that's why it just freaking gets, it's so awesome, man. I mean, wherever we go, always get compliments. People always ask us if it's our first date. They always like ask us what is our secret. I mean, it's like that's the reason why we want to share this with you guys, right? Because of our previous undesired state and our now states, our wow states. I mean, sometimes we can't even go to sleep. We can't even sleep because we're just so excited talking all over each other. It's like freaking awesome. It's just like a movie, man. And if this can happen to us, it can definitely happen to you guys as well. And as you can see these pics, look at the before bliss. Look at those pics before bliss. You could see no life in those eyes. That's when I never knew I was in a state where I didn't even know how to love, right? And look at this after bliss pics. You could see, the difference between these pictures, full of life, blissful, happy, free, inner peace, inner joy, inner happiness, man. And if this can happen to me or to us, of course it can happen to you guys as well. Of course.
All right, my turn. So also, I'm sorry, I just have to say too, whenever I hear the story of how Gabriel manifested his wife that ended up being me, all the feelings just come back. It's the most wonderful thing ever. But to be honest with you, I mean, someone had shared, oh, it's nice that, you guys are together in this. But to be honest, I've never manifested an SP. I've never manifested a person, the love of my life. Gabriel manifested, and it ended up being me. But what I can vouch for is being manifested. How my life changed according to his consciousness, because his consciousness created the external reality. So as he mentioned, that when he started this journey, it was in January. And he wrote down his list, and he's very clear in who he wanted and what he wanted. And then he expressed his gratitude, boom, sealed the deal, he knew it was done. He became the blissfully married person right then and there. At that same time, in my world, I went through a breakup, very sudden, right then and there. I don't think it was a coincidence, to be honest with you, that as soon as he accepted that he was married to this person, who was me, my world shifted. It seems a little, okay. And then the following month, I met a friend, an acquaintance. We weren't very close, but we met. And we chatted sometimes, but not very often. And about 2 months after that, 2.5 months after that, they invited me to come out. And they invited me to come out, join them with friends. And I said, okay, I've never hung out with you before. We don't talk, but why not? I'm here to make friends. Let's go. And we ended up going to the very place that was Gabriel's favorite restaurant, where he used to go out, imagine having dinner with his wife, choosing with his wife, having conversation with her. That's where we met. I had never been there before, save for that night. I had never been out with this group of people, save for that night. It was the most amazing thing looking back. I said, that's why I had to go through that sudden breakup. That's why I had to meet this person. That's why I felt so strongly to go out that night with this person that I didn't know very well. It was so incredible. And you know what else? When Gabriel and I, when we actually met, we started talking, it was as if we knew each other. I honestly thought for a moment, maybe we have met before. Maybe somewhere through someone we've met before, because this is flowing too easy. There's a connection here that's too strong. It was the most incredible thing, but you know why? Because in Gabriel's imagination, in his consciousness, in the real reality, he had had dinner with his wife before. It was me. He had gone for hikes, gone to the beach, done all these things, had conversations. And so when we met, we already had this jump start on our relationship because in consciousness, we were already together. It was the most incredible thing to me, for me to experience. And like he said, that's why he knew 2 months. Of course, he already got the ring. Of course. When he said I love you on our third date, he said I love you. I thought, oh my goodness. But part of me was saying, whoa, 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 crazy person. The other part of me was saying, of course he does. Of course he does. It's the most amazing thing. And that's when he was able to really show me bliss just through his actions. To show me bliss through his actions. And he said, Kylie, do you want to join me in endless bliss? Do you want to join me on this journey? And like I said, sure. And so he took my hand, slowly, patiently, lovingly, guiding me through this journey that I may open up and be able to also experience endless bliss and experience endless bliss with him as his wife. And you know, it was what I think it was 9 months after we met, we got married. We had to wait until we got to Canada. But I think if we didn't have to wait to get to Canada, we would have been married probably third month or something like that. So quick because we had already spent so much time in consciousness together that this reality really did change. And as I said, I went from this emotionally unavailable person to how how we are now, just living in endless bliss. I can express myself freely, freely, freely. Is the most wonderful thing. And so if you can go to the next slide, yes, so you can see where I was before, as we said, emotionally unavailable, to endless bliss, smiling, sparkle in the eyes, so happy, so content. And now there was a couple people in the survey that we sent. I don't know if you've all done it yet, but a couple of the answers said, well, I don't think I have my person, or I don't think my person loves me as much because of my looks, because of how my physical looks. And I just want to go off on a tangent for a moment that is absolutely not true. If you assume it to be true, it's true for you, but it's not true. You can see this picture in the middle here. Because of the state that I was in before, emotionally unavailable, there was chaos inside, always suppressing, pushing down. There was all this turmoil inside of me. And that manifested into my external reality as being very unhealthy. I had skin issues. You can see that that was my entire face, my forehead, my cheeks, my chin, my nose, everything. And that's when we met. It was even worse before we met. But you know what Gabriel said to me? I said, oh, but you know, I talk about my skin. Oh, and he said, I don't see anything wrong. It's perfect. It's perfect. And I thought, what the heck? What do you mean? He says, no, your skin is perfect. I believe your skin is perfect. And I thought, wow, okay. If you say so, again, I thought he was crazy at first. But now I realize it was his assumption, his belief was no, your skin is perfect. You're beautiful. He didn't care what I looked like at the time because he could see that the inside reality was beautiful, that where it counts was beautiful and pure and loving. And as my state shifted to endless bliss, I no longer had turmoil inside of me. And as you can see, my skin is perfect now because inside is bliss. The real world is bliss. So my external world is bliss too. It's just a quick tangent. I just had to share that when I saw that people thought their looks were the reason. No, it's not the reason, unless you assume it to be. But truly, what Gabriel did for me, and I knew that he loved me so deeply when he said that, because it was very clear, obvious. But he said, no, your skin is perfect. I believe your skin is perfect. You are perfect. And that's that. It was a beautiful, such a beautiful gift. It makes me want to cry. But yeah, so to shift from one state to another state, your external reality automatically changes. Automatic manifestations, whether it be your own physical health, finding that person, having that person come into your life, manifest in your 3D reality, having your relationship completely transform, it comes with the state that you're in. You don't need to focus, I didn't need to focus on manifesting perfect skin. I needed to focus on feeling bliss and perfection inside. And the external automatically changed in a manifestation. So, how do we shift? We've shared our stories of how we shifted, but let's talk about very specifically, how do you shift? How did we shift? How do you shift from where you were before to the states that you wrote in there? I loved what Marco said. We built a empire of love. You know, that blew my mind, Marco. That's amazing. So how do we shift from where we are to the empire of love? Gabriel?
Yeah, so now we're just going to share a few different tools and methods with you guys. But just a quick disclaimer, you don't need any methods to or tools to manifest. As a matter of fact, You've always been manifesting all your life. You did not have to do no tools or use methods, tools, whatever the case may be. You didn't have to use your imagination, all these things. You've always been manifesting, right? So that's just a disclaimer. But however, with tools and methods, it can actually help you to shift into your desired, state. And it's also good to keep track of your results, right? Okay, so we're going to discuss the imagination. That's Kylie's favorite. Inner conversation, self-talk. That's my favorite. Obviously, gratitude, my favorite. And isn't it wonderful with you guys?
So imagination. Ooh, I love imagination. That is the main tool that I use to shift from emotionally unavailable to bliss and endless bliss. Now, what it requires is for you to create a small scene that implies that it's already done, that you've already shifted to that empire of love, to that loving wife, whatever that may be. And so make sure that it's very short. I have a very creative imagination, you could say that, where I used to make these long scenes, and those long scenes used to take me into daydream land, and I would be off, and it would be running loose on its own. Where here we want it to be very short, that implies that it is done, and you repeat that over and over and over and over again until it feels real to you. Until it feels real, then you drop it and express your gratitude. So, for example, if you say, okay, I want to be a loving wife, okay, well, one small thing you could do is with your wedding rings, feel that you have a ring on your finger. Feel the cold metal, feel you putting it on, feel the metal there. You have your ring on your finger. You are married because you have your ring. Or maybe before you get in the shower, just take a moment. Imagine taking your rings off, putting it on the counter, and then you have your shower. We're just small little things that until it feels real to you. Gabriel, do you have anything more to add?
Yeah, so I'll be sharing my favorite one, which is the inner conversations and the self-talk. So you want to ask yourself, what are your inner conversations now that you have shifted into your ideal? So if your ideal is loving husband, loving wife, or loving blissful in a relationship, what are those inner conversations? What are you telling yourself, about now that you are this loving wife or this loving husband? Maybe, for example, it would be, you're having this inner conversation with your husband, and you hear your husband say that, wow, you look so beautiful, I just love the way you carry yourself, you look like a goddess, you're just so amazing, oh man, I just love, bragging about you on social media and telling all my friends. And then you tell your husband in your imagination, yeah, isn't it amazing? Wow, man, thank you so much, baby. I really appreciate you. What we actually having now, it's just so awesome. It's like a dream come true. It's like a awesome romantic movie that never ends. It's just so wonderful. And you repeat those conversations until it feels real. And boom, you just drop it. As the moment it feels real, you drop it. And with self-talk, what are you telling yourself now that you've shifted into your idea? With self-talk, sometimes you tell yourself, I'm the type of person that blah, blah, blah. I'm the type of person that blah, blah, blah. What are you telling yourself? Are you telling yourself that you are the type of person that always experience bliss every time, all the time? Are you telling yourself that you probably, maybe you need to wait until this evening so that you can use your imagination and then you can have your inner conversations? What are you telling yourself? Are you telling yourself that your future partner is in the future, which we know that the future doesn't exist because consciousness is the only reality and consciousness exists within? So if you say that you are blissfully married now, it means that you are blissfully married now. So what are you telling yourself? What are those inner conversations or those self-talks you're having, about you, about your current partner? What are you telling yourself about your family, your friends, your colleagues, strangers, clients, and even on social media? What are your conversations that you're having on social media? Go on your WhatsApp, go on your Instagram, go on Facebook, and see what are those conversations you're having. That will tell you where you are, right? You can change that in your imagination and have the proper conversations that now states that you are in your ideal. Because if you're not, you're probably going to get the same, results. But it's very important now that you've shifted, ask yourself, what am I saying to myself? What do other people say to myself? How do I feel? How do I see myself? And that's why I love this, because I love having fun with these inner conversations. I love having fun with these inner conversations. And so that's one of my favorites. And gratitude, gratitude, gratitude,
Gratitude is the
gratitude.
best attitude.
Mhm.
Gratitude. Gratitude, it's not just being thankful for what we have, but being thankful from the end. And so we need to be grateful for the things that we already have. I'm grateful that, well, for me, I could say, I'm already married, but I could say, I'm grateful that I am now a loving mother. I'm a loving mother. I don't have kids yet in this 3D reality, but inside, I'm already a loving mother. I'm a blissful mother. I'm grateful for being a mother. And so, for yourselves, if you're not yet married, you could say, okay, I'm grateful that I am a loving wife. I have such an amazing husband who loves me so deeply right now. Be grateful from the end. Another way we use this is every morning and every night. But every morning, before we get out of bed, before our day is even started, we go through and say, I'm grateful for the food we had. I'm grateful for the endless blisses that we experienced today. I'm grateful for the endless miracles and manifestations that came through. I'm grateful for all of our client success today. I'm grateful for the beautiful flowers that we saw today. You think from the end, so you do it in a way that's in the past tense. Even though in this 3D reality, it hasn't happened yet, but we know that consciousness is the only reality. And we've already experienced such a blissful day. And even at night, we go through and we share gratitude for what happened that day, for what happened in the past, but also for the blissful sleep that we had, for the blissful dreams that we experienced. We're grateful for things that happen in the future in this external reality, and we are thankful for the past, the present, the future, and it just puts you in such a level of peace because you guarantee that, oh, I'm so grateful for this person, I'm so grateful for this thing. It guarantees that it's a done deal already.
I love it. I love it. Gratitude is also my favorite attitude. I even tattooed. I tattooed thank you. Yeah. Just to constantly remind me that every day and every moment is a moment of thankfulness and gratitude. It's just so amazing. It's our favorite attitude. We love it. We love it. And isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful? So this tool you use to celebrate now that you have shifted into your ideal state and now that you've manifested your ideal partner or your ideal relationship. For example, we'd say, isn't it wonderful now that I'm a blissful wife? Isn't it wonderful now that I'm a blissful husband? And you really feel into the fact that, wow, your life is so wonderful now that you're enjoying a loving, blissful wife. You're really feeling into that wonder, just that wonderful. You're like, wow, wow, wow. Isn't it wonderful now that I'm always experiencing endless bliss with a beautiful husband or beautiful wifey, and it's just getting better all the time, every time. Isn't it wonderful? Now everyone always compliments us. Isn't it wonderful how everyone's so happy for us? Isn't it wonderful that every time my husband spoils me? Isn't it wonderful that my wife makes me feel like a man? Isn't it wonderful that my life is just getting more blissful every single time, all the single time? It's just beautiful. This one is power, 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 power. So guys, what we've shared with you are tools and methods that you can use to shift into your ideal. However, you don't need these tools and methods. All you need to accept is that you are it now, or you have it now, and you believe that reality to be true, and you express your gratitude now that it is a done deal, because consciousness is the only reality. So whatever you say within, it's done. You don't have to do anything else. But however, those tools and methods can assist you to shift into your desired state. And I would love to share the last quote by Neville. And Neville says that assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Ask yourself, now that I am a loving husband, now that I am a loving wife, now that I am in a loving, blissful relationship, how does it make me feel? What are those feelings? What are those feelings? Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Though reason denies it, because your thoughts is going to say, no, you're crazy. Your mind is going to say, no, you don't have it. Your feeling is going to say, no, you don't have it. Though reason denies it, though your senses deny it, though your eyes say, it's not there, you can't feel it, though your senses denies it, don't waver in that assumption. Do not quit. Do not waver in that assumption. Persist, 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 persist in that assumption. And that assumption will harden into reality. It has to. I am proof. You've seen it. It has to. But you want to make it fun. You want to make it fun. You want to think from there, and you want to be grateful now that it is a done deal. You don't have to do anything, man. You can just chill, because consciousness is the only reality. If you've seen and felt it within, it is done. That's all you need. That is all you need.
Yeah, for me, the persist part is that's when you are the shifting. You must persist in shifting. That's why these tools and methods are so helpful to be able to shift from one state to the next state. And once you're there, of course, you're going to be moving to another state as you grow, as you move along in life. And you can use these tools to help you shift from one state to the next. And to have fun, that's the manifestations. Remember, the states have automatic manifestations. If I'm a loving wife, my loving husband has to appear in my reality. I don't need to worry about focusing on that husband, 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 husband. Because if I'm not a wife yet, a husband won't come. I'm not a wife, why would I need a husband? You see what I mean? So the persist is to shift your state from one state to the next and to have fun. That's manifestations. Remember what I said of how Gabriel and I would just say, how does it get more blissful? And we look up, there's a beautiful rainbow there. We say, how does it get any more blissful than this? And we saw this bright yellow bird, the only one we've ever seen, perched high up top that we wouldn't have been able to notice unless we had asked that question. And so it's very important to persist, but to have the most fun ever, because every day you have such great expectation because you know manifestations are going to come your way that day. You can be grateful for those manifestations and have fun. Watch them unfold right before your very eyes.
Yeah, and having said that, I know that many of you guys have studied Neville for years. You've tried different coaches, you've tried different courses, and yet you still have not, received results. And it could be because, of course, you try to manifest instead of shifting into that state that, or into that person that already has it. So there's a difference between manifesting and shifting into the person that is now already enjoying a loving, blissful relationship, or a person that is now married, or whatever the case may be. We understand that, some people have tried this, they've tried that, you've been around the block, it's been years. And that's why Kylie and I, we've decided, to work with a group of, people that would like to join us. And just because what we're going to do, we just want to obviously share what we've used in our experience and with you guys, and not only like persist, 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 but make it fun as well, because manifestation is fun, man. Manifestation is fun. You don't have to like constantly listen to like affirmations for hours and hours and hours, and script for hours and hours and hours, and imagining for every day and every day and every. No, man, no, 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 no. It's so much fun. You just have to know that it's a done deal and just express your gratitude. That's why we actually invite, you guys, we invite you guys to an 8-week shift into your ideal love life course. 8-week shift into your ideal life course. It starts on the 1st of June 2022, which is this year. We're going to have weekly Zoom calls. We're going to provide you guys with unlimited, support, and we'll have daily accountability on the Voxer app as well. We're only going to see you guys in your ideal. If you're saying that you're the loving wife we're only going to see you as a loving wife. If you're saying that you love the husband, you're only going to see you as the loving husband, because we know consciousness is the only reality. And if we see you in that state, same thing. That's why when Kylie had a skin condition, I saw her in her ideal. I saw her with perfect skin. That's why I look at how she's glowing now. So week one, what we're going to be doing is we're going to have a full module on awareness, on who you are as God. You know, it's easier said than done. Yeah, I'm the God of my reality. I'm the operant power. But do you really behave like that? Do you believe that you are God in the inside? Or do you just say, yeah, I am God? So we're going to unpack that and make sure that you have the full experience of your true identity, of this awareness. And then week two, we're going to deal on clarity, what it is you want, you know, what is that state that's going to make you go, wow. You know, you don't just want to settle for less. You want to have that state that makes you go, wow. That's week two. And week three, we're then going to activate that state. And we're going to bury the old self-concept, the old state. We're going to bury that 10 feet deep. We're going to make sure he never resurrects again. We're going to bury him. He's dead. And we're going to celebrate your new state. And week four, we're going to have a fully embodiment on your new state. Now, we're going to allow your awareness to overwhelm you with your new state. And week five, that's when you feel it real. You're going to, you know, when Neville Goddard says, how does it feel now, you know, that you are this? You know, assume the feeling now. You're going to have this experience. We're going to give you the, take you to a process where you can experience all, you know, that feelings, you know. And we exist, we're going to persist, especially when you know, experiencing these triggers from the 3D and stuff like that. That's when we're going to assist you, and you'll know exactly how to deal with it. Week 7, gratitude, thank you, all good. And week 8, that's where we celebrate. And by week 8, man, you're going to be like, whoa, you'll now have a full experience what it is to be your true self. Not just, you don't just want to be a state, you know, you are the one wearing the state. You know, you're gonna have that experience like what we have. You know, we just want to share that with you guys. And Kylie is now going to, you know, share with you guys, because we have a special offer for you as well.
Yeah, so originally we were just going to start this group and, you know, promote it, have everyone join us, and away we go. But we wanted to give everyone who has joined us today a special offer. And we really wanted to make it as accessible for everyone as possible. And so if you sign up before tomorrow midnight Eastern time, then you will get $500 off the price. So it costs $2,500 for the 8 weeks. But for everyone who's joined us today, it will simply be $2,000. We wanted to make it as accessible as possible to say thank you to everyone who has joined us today. I've loved interacting with you in the comments and reading all of that. But yeah, so after this call, I will send out an email with a recording of this masterclass. It'll have the link to sign up, and it will have a reminder for the promo code so that you guys can all get in as quick as possible at the rate of 2,000. We want to keep the group quite small, just so that we can have more intimacy, people can feel more comfortable. But if we need to open up for more, then we'll visit that when the time comes. But yes, we would love for all of you to join us in our Shift into Your Ideal Love Life course, because celebration is so much better together. If I do something that's exciting, I don't want to celebrate by myself. I want to share it with everyone. I want to be able to go on a journey with everybody. Celebration, so much better together. Even walking the journey with other people, it helps us not feel so alone. You know, we think, oh, I'm the only one going through this. No, you're not. Everyone else in this group is going through that exact same thing. Or maybe they have tips for you of how you can get through it even better. But that being said, we would like to go into question and answers. You guys have put some amazing questions into the chat. If you have any more, please put them in the chat now, just so we can get to it. But Gabriel, we had one of our guests today had to go off to work, but he wanted to make sure that this question got answered, and he's going to watch the recording. But the question was, how do you deal with someone who is a narcissist, whether it's your partner or maybe the person you're trying to manifest? They seem great, but they're narcissistic. How would you go about dealing with someone like that?
Yeah, so remember, there's the only one to change is, self. The fact that the person is calling that other person a narcissist means that they have an assumption, about that person being a narcissist, right? So they don't have to change, that person. You don't have to change a person. You just have to change, how you view yourself. So if you view yourself as being deserving of that ultimate love, or being the queen, of ultimate love, that person will then, change. Because remember, Neville Goddard says that, um, there's no one to change. If I go back to this, the first quote that we shared here, which is so powerful, absolutely so powerful. It says here, change your conception of yourself, and you will automatically change the world in which you live, because that person obviously have an assumptions of the other person as well. And now check this quote here. It says, do not try to change people. Don't try to change the narcissist. They are only messengers telling you who you are. You have to revalue yourself. You have to ask yourself, what value am I putting on myself? Am I putting value on myself that I deserve, this, or I deserve that? You have to really ask yourself, what do you deserve, as a person that wants to enjoy, this thing we call the life, right? Ask yourself, what do you deserve? So there's only one to change. No, you don't need to change the external reality. All you need to change is just self. A person just need to, change that they are the type of person that always receive true love, always receive bliss, and always receive, happiness, on whatever the case may be.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. Another question that we got that I know you had experienced before, but what do you do when your family, maybe your parents, I know for you was your mother, ask you, when are you getting married? Because you already know that you are married. So how do you address that with them if they don't understand manifestation?
Yeah, so with my mom, my mom actually, she always asks me, she's always asking, when are you getting married? When are you getting married? So I told her, now I am married already. I am married already. And she's like, oh, who is she? Who is she? And I was like, no, no, within, it was in. So I gave my mom a brief, description of the real world, and the external, the projection world. So this world that we see is only a projection of the real world. And I told her that if you can see and feel that you are now married within, that's all you need. And my mom obviously kind of understood, that. So I told her, I said, don't worry, I am married. You will meet her soon, and then boom, she already met Kylie, and it was awesome. And another thing also, I had a friend that um, I told this friend already, because I wrote down what I wanted in a woman in January, and then I did my imaginal scene in January, and in February I told this friend that I'm already married and she's amazing and stuff like that. And but he understands manifestation a little bit, not that much. And it was so funny because when this friend of mine met Kylie, and he was like, you know what, this guy was already married to you before you even came into his life. You always used to tell me how amazing you are, and look, here you are, and you are just so amazing. So to answer that question, consciousness is the only reality. If you see and feel that you are married within now, that is done. So you could maybe explain to the person that, hey, consciousness is the only reality. This reality that you see through your eyes is a projection of consciousness. So I am married. Don't worry, you'll meet her or him soon. It's all good, you know.
I think it also goes with our assumption. If you have the assumption that, of course, my parents understand the law, that's one thing Gabriel and I are kind of playing with now with my parents. We say,
Mm,
of course, they understand the law. Of course, they understand manifestation and states and all of this. Because if we assume that, oh, they don't understand, they won't understand, then they never will understand.
mm,
However, right now, when Gabriel and I, our whole work, or most of our life is manifestation, and my parents, they don't understand that. And so we've started to say, no, we have amazing conversations about the law of assumption. We have amazing conversations discussing manifestation and states and all of that. And we've seen that starting to manifest in our external reality. My mom has really come around to wanting to know more just to have more discussions about it. So it's also our assumptions about the people that are asking us those questions.
Mhm.
Now we had another question that says, what if we are on a very tight time crunch? How do you respond to that?
Yeah, because time doesn't exist in consciousness. There's only now. Because if you are saying to yourself, I am enjoying a loving, blissful relationship and it's always getting better every single time, and you feel how it will feel, you know, because you are now enjoying that, that's all you need. Because the reason why you want the manifestation is because you want to feel a certain way, you want to feel a type of way. So you're not really after the person per se, you're after the feeling, you're after how that's going to make you feel. So time really doesn't exist within, it only exists in the mind but not in consciousness. So all, I mean, and especially if you obviously are familiar with, the law, you would know that as long as you've seen it within and felt it within, it's a done deal. It's a done deal. And by you expressing your gratitude that it's a done deal, it has to show up in your reality, whether you like it or not. It has to, because it's a projection of the inner, boom, to the outer. So it has to happen.
Yeah, and we've played a little bit with this, having a, if you want to call it a time deadline. When we were trying to come to Canada, when we were working on visas and all of that, because Gabriel said, "Oh, we're in Canada already," and at the time I couldn't understand it. I couldn't grasp it. I couldn't fit. So I said, "Okay, I'm going to create an imaginal scene that implies that we are in Canada by this time." And so I had us in Canada in the snow, because that way it implies, okay, by winter we are in Canada. And sure enough, we got to Canada in the winter. And so you can maybe play with that, try that, see if that works for you. Say, okay, by this date, okay, if it's by Valentine's Day next year, then you picture yourself Valentine's, excited, you have your partner's hand in yours, and you go about. You can try playing with that. But as Gabriel said, you only have the now. It's all that exists is the now. There's no past, there's no future, there's only the present. Um, there was another question that was very good. Um, I just had it here.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
in terms of visualizing, did you know how she looked appearance wise? No, that's the funny thing is I actually did not know how she looked exactly, but as I was, doing the imaginal scene, I could see like some sort of an appearance, but it was vague. And I actually told Kylie, when we met, I think it was like 2.5 months later and stuff like that. And that image that I could kind of see vaguely when I was doing it appeared, and it was like, and I was like, even though it wasn't so clear, but it hit me so hard. I'm like, oh my God, whoa, 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 whoa. And that's when I shared, with her. So to answer the question, I did not see her face clearly, but very much, vaguely. But it was more, the feeling, that was just driving me crazy in such a good way. It was more the feeling, that I felt. But yeah, I didn't see her face clearly.
Yeah, this was a question that was asked. She's put in a couple times. I don't know if you can see it in the chat there. This is my question. Is this possible when I've met already my SP? We are in no contact. So what is the best way to shift in the state of being married?
Yeah, you are married now. So as we said that we've given you guys obviously different, tools that you could use, but you just have to believe and assume that you are married now and then live from that. So what I did in particular, I just lived from gratitude. I live from being thankful now that I am married to my SP, and we enjoying endless bliss, and it's just getting better every single time. And as I said, whenever it came to my mind, that's when I expressed my gratitude, again. And irrespective what the 3D reality tells you, you just have to know that consciousness is the only reality. So whatever is within, it's a done deal. And I know that that's obviously easier said than done, but it requires you to really, if you believe that you're the operant power, then you will trust in your power. And that's the reason why we're doing this course, so that you can go through that experience, just to uh, feel and experience your power as God. It's easier said than done just to talk. But have you experienced that? Do you really know that you're God? Do you know that you're the upper power? But to answer the question, just believe it's a done deal. It's done, and go enjoy yourself, do things you love, whether that's reading, going for walks, watching Netflix, just do things you love. It's already done.
All right, there was another question. I believe Kat put it. I didn't write down the entire quote, but something about how our opinion on arguments make a good relationship or something along those lines. I'm sorry, Kat, I can't find it at the moment.
Our opinions.
Oh, arguments make a relationship healthy. Do you believe that?
Our opinions make a relationship healthy.
Arguments.
Our arguments.
Mm.
Well, I mean, I can actually share with Kylie and I. We haven't really had arguments per se. We had discussions where we reason from cause to effect, because we agree to a spiritual relationship. So if anything comes up, we deal with it right there and there. We don't have it linger or wait. We just deal with it right there and there. And because for us, it's always endless bliss. But if you want a healthy, loving relationship, you have to believe that you are having a healthy, loving relationships without, those arguments, per se. Of course, yeah, it's good to have opinions because you're having a different human experience, and like I'm having a different human experience, and Kylie has a human experience, and we still individuals at the end of the day. So I'm not owning Kylie, she's also not owning me, but together we're enjoying endless bliss. So she's adding bliss to me and I'm adding bliss to her. I can't make her feel blissful because she already has bliss within. She also can't make me feel blissful because I already have bliss within. And that's why our relationship is more of a celebration. So when we come together, we just add that bliss to each other. So it's, you really want to ask yourself, like, I mean, what do you want in the relationship? What do you want from the relationship? And whatever that is, move into that state of loving, blissful relationship. Because once you move into a loving, blissful relationship, it's already complete. It has all its thoughts, its feelings, actions, and automatic manifestations. So you don't have to Google how to be a blissful wife or search how to be a blissful wife. No, the state is complete. When you shift in there, boom, you will act accordingly. And that's the good thing. So that's why you've seen my past. And now I didn't have to go, a Google and like how to be, blissfully married. No, the state is already complete because there are infinite amounts of states and there are infinite versions of you right now that you can shift into. You can choose anyone. It's up to you because you are God. You're the God of your reality. You get to choose. You're the open power.
Yeah, I also agree. I don't believe it's the arguments, no. Communication, yes. And honest communication. As Gabriel said, when any issue comes up, we put it out right then and there. And that way, it doesn't have time to build up into an argument. Because I think arguments usually stem from suppression. So you suppress over and over and over again. Oh no, it's fine. Okay, I'll just deal with this. I'll deal with this. Oh, I don't want to talk about it. And then it explodes and everything just vomits out. And then you have this big argument, which is what happened. We had, I think, one or two arguments almost. But it was because we were keeping things inside. At least I was keeping things inside. And we said, okay, no, we're having a spiritual relationship. We are one. So if we are one, one cannot be in conflict with itself. So as soon as something happens, we immediately talk about it right then and there. And then we're able to move past it, to go back to endless bliss. We know it's not us. We are one. One cannot be in conflict. And therefore, the problem is not us, it's something else. And we talk about it right then and there.
Yeah, indeed.
So, and I think this will be our last question just for time. That
Mm-hmm.
says, I was already married. The marriage was not that good, but I do know how it feels to be. Oh, I do know how to feel it feels to be a blissful marriage. Exactly. Even if you've never been in any relationship before, you can imagine what it's like. We've all seen movies. Maybe there's a couple that we look up to. We
Yeah.
can tap into that feeling no matter what our past experience has been. If we were not in a loving relationship, we know what it feels like. And if we don't, take a moment, ask the awareness because it is infinite and limitless. It
Mm.
knows
No.
Every it can pull out any feeling just like that. And it's
Mhm.
the most amazing, blissful thing ever.
Exactly. Indeed. Indeed. Yeah, no, having said that, thank you so much, guys. It was such a blissful delight, being able to share with you guys from a vulnerable, place, and just to really remind you who you are, that you're not the state. You've seen that we were in an undesirable state, but we've chosen the state of bliss now. And it's just so amazing. And it's just getting more blissful every single time, all the time. And you know what? I wish all this, for you guys. And I see all of you guys in a loving, blissful relationship, having the most time, awesome time of your life. The wow stage, the wow state. So, and for you guys that are looking to join us for this 8-week, course, we're looking forward to having fun with you guys because, like we said, it's going to be fun, 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 fun because manifestation is fun, 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 fun. That's what life is. Endless funs, endless ups, endless wows, endless bliss, endless wealth, endless success. And it's just getting better all the time, every time. Yeah, man. I'm just getting excited. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, awesome stuff. Thank you so much, guys. And we will speak soon. And
Okay,
enjoy your
thank you so
blissful
much.
day.
Don't forget the recording is coming with the link to register, the promo code to join us. We can't wait to keep in contact with you guys. You can get in contact with us on our socials, our email, any way you want to connect. We love to connect. We love you.
Cheers. Love you guys. Bye bye.